Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 4 of the PlayStation 2 series. Let's take a look at another 5 PlayStation 2 games that I think you should add to your collection. How did I go 4 episodes into covering PS2 games without talking about Max Payne? The first game in the series released on PC in 2001 and for PS2 in 2002. You play as Detective Max Payne turned vigilante after his family's killed by drug dealers. Max Payne sets out to get down to what's really going on. The game is a third-person action shooter and makes use of its most famous game mechanic, bullet time, where time slows down when you press the L2 button. You can't be in bullet time mode forever though, since there's a meter that runs out. It'll recharge soon though. There's also a few environmental puzzles to complete here and there to break up the monotonous shooting. The game has a comic book panel style to its cutscenes, which for the time was okay. Max and the other characters have super cheesy dialogue, which is almost done on purpose. The game knows it's cheesy. Controls don't really hold up since Max controls very abruptly and his aim is super fast. But after a level or two, you'll get used to it and really start enjoying it. For PS2, the graphics are nice, with most of the game taking place indoors around criminal settings. It's cool to see what the height of furniture detail was in 2002. This is a very fun game, mostly action upon action, mowing down enemies which could get tiresome after a while, but levels are short and the game doesn't take itself too seriously. Are you looking to play some arcade-style NBA basketball? Well, how about street-style basketball with NBA Street Vol.2 released in 2003? You play as rebellious street youths who stay on the streets competing against each other in pickup-style basketball games. In this game, style and the utter embarrassment of your opponent is key. Dunks are high-flying and stylish. Trick moves are performed to land your opponent on his behind. Build up enough style and perform a special groundbreaker shot or dunk, which gives you double the points and removes points from your opponent. There's a career mode which has you travel to places like New York, PA, and Chicago, building up your character's skill points and recruiting new players as you defeat them. Story mode is non-existent, as this is primarily an arcade-style game, but career mode is more than enough to keep you occupied. The controls are super tight and responsive. Blocking, running, and passing all have a snappy feel to them. Stealing and rebounding takes some getting used to, as it involves some predicting of the opponent's moves, but nothing you can't adjust to. Graphics, in my opinion, hold up well, as they have a semi-cel-shaded look to them, and cel shading always holds up. The players based on real NBA players don't look identical to their real-life counterparts, and character appearance customization is somewhat limited. Environments are nice, and I especially love the neighborhood feel of the New York parks. NBA Street was a game me and some friends spent months playing, and while recording I almost forgot how addicting the game can be. Nothing wrong with some arcade basketball done well. Next up, we have some top-down fantasy world loot finding hack and slash goodness. Champions Return to Arms, released in 2005 as one of the many top-down action style games that were popular on the PS2. In this fantasy setting, you pick a class of which there are 7 to choose from, such as warriors, clerics, or rangers. In your first mission, you can choose to be evil and gather shards to resurrect an evil god Inuruk, or be good and completely destroy the shards to get rid of him completely. Throughout missions, destroying enemies and environments will allow you to collect money and loot. Tons of loot, which is important to equip your character with, such as armor and weapons. In addition to loot, you'll level up your character by defeating enemies, unlocking skill points to use towards skill trees. Mission maps are large, and exploring every area is best, since you'll find some of the best loot for going out of your way into harder areas. The story progresses through cutscenes that are fully voiced rather well actually. After each mission you return to the Land of Tranquility, where you go and refill on supplies before your next mission. I'm not too crazy about this mission structure nowadays, since I'm more used to linear progression with no real hub areas to keep going back to, but that's a minor nitpick. The PS2 is putting out some impressive textures here. Graphics are clear and well represented. Each stage is colorful and has its own theme, such as this trippy junkyard themed stage. Champions Return to Arms is a challenging hack and slash looter that's fun solo or even with a friend. So, is regular snowboarding too boring for you? How does flying down snow-filled cities and record-high mountains while pulling off tricks sound? SSX Tricky released in 2001 for the PS2. In this game, you choose a snowboarder that best suits your needs, like his speed or her handling. At the beginning of the race, you start at the top of the mountain and race down, performing as many unique tricks as possible to accumulate points and boost. I was very rusty while gathering footage for this review, so bear with me. Tricks are pulled off using the L and R buttons and sometimes the square button. Hold and let go of the buttons while in the air to perform tricks. Sounds easy, but there's something nerve-wracking about the race that makes you forget the tricks and the timing. I ended up repeating tricks or crashing at first, but with time you get used to it. Finish in first place and move on to the next one. Unlock different boards and outfits to increase your character's stats. Graphics are my favorite part of this game. Aside from regular mountains, I love races with unique settings like Mercury City, with its shortcuts and city landscape. Sure, the character models are probably the best you'll see on PS2, and that's not saying much, but environments are fun to look at with many different lighting choices in each stage. Also, if you're a fan of the channel, you know I love snow stages, so there's that. I really enjoyed the Xbox 360 SSX reboot, as a lot of the issues with the controls I had were fixed. But SSX Tricky on the PS2 holds its own, and a lot of the hardcore fans prefer this older SSX series. Topspin, released in 2005 for the PS2. In this game, you'll choose from a number of professional tennis players and compete in simulation tennis. Yup, it's not quite arcadey like a Mario Tennis, but I don't think it has to be. This game is fun in its own right. The spot-on controls and different types of swings make this just as enjoyable. Topspin centers around giving the player the closest experience to professional tennis as possible, for the time. There's various courts like clay and asphalt. There's also singles and doubles matches to take part in. The icing on the cake would be the career mode. Create your character, choosing his look and stats, and off you go traveling the world, training with coaches and entering championships. Graphics don't necessarily hold up well, and even at the time they were criticized, but I think that the gameplay makes up for the graphics. Character animations as they stretch far and wide for a shot look amazing. The same can't be said for the characters' close-ups though. Yeesh. Honestly, Topspin was quite a surprise back in the day, and I didn't even expect to like it as much as I did. That's why I'm here to tell you guys to check it out. You won't be disappointed. So there you have it, another 5 PlayStation 2 games that I think you should add to your collection. You know, sometimes we forget how much variety there was on the PlayStation 2. There's no wonder it's considered by so many to be the greatest console of all time. That'll do it for this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.